Let's talk about invest. Now, invest is a model that's widely used in agile circles for building requirements and user stories. The first letter in this acronym is I. Now, I stands for independent. Independence is all about removing dependencies, figuring out what can be worked on simultaneously and what can't be started until something else has been sorted out, and make sure that those are separated as much as possible. The next letter within our acronym is N, and N stands for negotiable. Now, negotiation actually exists on two levels when it comes to requirements within an agile environment. The first level of negotiation really is you want to figure out which of your tasks are must-dos and which of your tasks could you do and which of your tasks should you do. There's a larger video on Moscow prioritization. I'm not going to cover all of that now, but if you want to look into Moscow prioritization, feel free to look at one of my other videos. But really, it's about putting levels of importance to your deliveries. Now, the other level of negotiation is actually within each requirement. So within each requirement, you can set another level of negotiation where you can say, actually, I'm going to do this and deliver it to this level, and if I can't deliver it to this level, I'm going to deliver it to this level, and if I can't deliver it to this level, I'm going to deliver it to this level. Moving on to our next letter, we have V. Now, V stands for valuable. No requirement should just be done willy-nilly. There should be some kind of value that is returning back to you. Now, once again, going from an agile basis, easy to find value. You can find value in the epic that's been set, and also when we actually write user stories, we write user stories using as a I want to, so that I. We use that framework for writing our user stories. We might say, as a person, I want to do this, and the so that I part, that's where the value is returned back to you. That's where you kind of say, I'm doing this so that I get this out of it. Now, I'm not going to cover user stories in detail. That kind of goes beyond the scope of this video, but I will say that's how we kind of cover it in an agile environment. We can get it from the epic, or we can get it from right there within the user story itself. Moving on to our next letter, E. E stands for estimatable. Okay, this is really straightforward. In an agile environment, we use things like story planning, t-shirt sizing. We've got lots of different mechanisms for a team to kind of get around together and to work out how long a task is going to take. Okay, it should be estimatable. If it's not estimatable, then that's a sign that it needs to be decomposed or broken down into a smaller task so we can estimate it. Moving on to our next one, small. Now, I know in SMART objectives, S is for specific, in invest, it's for small. Really, it's about breaking things down to their smallest deliverables. Once again, working in an agile environment, we want them as small as possible so that we can get multiple members of staff working on different things. Sometimes two people can be working on a single user story, but you won't get to that place until you've broken them down or decomposed them to a level where they're small enough to be assigned in that way. Finally, our final one is T. T stands for testable. We have to make our requirements as testable as possible. Now, testable is all done within your acceptance criteria that's set. So in Agile, we use things like given, when, then, or non-functional and functional specifications that we set within the user story itself so that we know, given this kind of environment, when this is triggered, then this is what should occur. I always say when you do your tests, think about the value that you establish. You should be able to test against that reason, see if that's actually done. Don't just do functional tests, do tests that actually return the value. This is called BDD, and the idea behind this kind of testing is that it's actually testing the value that you've established earlier. There it is, that's invest, independent, negotiable, valuable, estimatable, small, and testable. Apply it in Agile if you're using Agile. Apply it in your own personal business if you have a small business or you've got a to-do list that's looking really daunting, and see how it works for you. I hope you found that video very useful. If you have, please do follow along on like and share the video if you think it could be useful for someone that you know who probably could do with a bit of organization. Cheers.